Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to our next module, and our next module is going to be an introduction to the fundamentals of assemblies. So assemblies is when we're going to be looking at bringing these individual parts together so that they can, do something meaningful, if you would, or function. So our learning plan 6 is dedicated to this. So the first thing we want to look at is going to be our learning plan. So I'm going to click on our learning plan here, and you're going to notice that we're going to be looking at chapter 9 in our textbook. Okay. So, so here you'll notice that for chapter 9, this is assembly fundamentals. You need to download these parts. Don't do it right now, please. I'm going to do an overview first. Don't even worry about pulling these up right now. Well, you can play with them a little bit later, but you're going to be downloading these files. It says chapter 9, and then it has axle and base and bolt and so on. Okay. These are the individual parts that you're going to be using to create the assembly in this chapter. Okay. Now it says here, read all of chapter 9 and work the tutorials of the support subassembly and the pulley assembly. So I'm going to open up our book and we're going to look there. Okay. Now, again, no need to download or click or anything right now. So as we look at lesson number 9 or chapter number 9, assembly fundamentals, what we're going to be creating is this assembly right here. We're going to be putting this pulley and the L bracket together with an axle, a base plate, and then some fasteners that are gonna fasten it down to that plate. No clicking right now, please. I'm doing an overview of what your next assignment is going to be. All right, so I want everybody's attention. Lucas, can I have your attention? Thank you. So as we look at this assembly, the individual parts are the ones that I have for you to download there. You don't have to create them. Earlier in this book, they were setting them up in different places. We haven't been using the book all that much, and I apologize for that. I don't apologize. It's a kind of not a great book, but I'm trying to use as much as possible because you purchased it. And so for this one, these are the parts that you're going to be using to put in there. So you don't have to create those. You're going to focus on just the assembly portion. Okay. Now, as we turn the page here, you're going to notice that they're going to do some background information on assemblies, and it talks about collecting those assembly components. Those are all set for you. You just download them from the Canvas page there. And then it's going to talk about the different constraints. Now, I don't see the purpose, if you would, of me just lecturing to you about these constraints. I think it's better if you go through and you actually use them the way the book is having you do them. I think they do a great job of having you test these out. They explain them and then they have you use them. So what you want to do is you're going to be reading through and exploring and getting the background and the detailed information about how to do these assemblies and what the constraints mean and how to actually put them together. Okay. You have a lot of experience now in Creo, interface wise and stuff like that. So now I think it's good for you to kind of work through a tutorial independently and be able to kind of glean all the information. So it's going to talk about the coincident constraint. This is one we're going to use a lot. Okay. And then there's some other ones. There's ones where you add a distance constraint. There's going to be parallel, angle offset, tangent, and explains each and every one of these. Okay. Then it's going to talk about some assembly design issues that you might run into. These are important because these are things that come up, okay? And I want you to read this section and then do anything that they're asking you to do. Then you're going to have the assembling the components. This is when you're going to get started into doing the actual assembly, okay? So you're going to pull in your very first part is going to be the a small assembly that you're going to create for the support. And then it's having you bring in the L bracket, and then it's going over the interface and all the different items here. Okay. When I do demonstrations, I get the feeling that, and I don't blame you. And that's why I'm having you do it this way, because I think it's going to be a little bit more interactive and more meaningful, is that when I'm trying to kind of show you stuff, I think people are kind of off and running and doing their own thing because they're exploring some other things. And I get it. That's what, it's kind of cool to play with the software. But this way, you can get all the information here. So go through and work through each and every one of these. Because again, they're going to have you kind of toggle things on and off so you can see how they work. Okay. Rather than just, let's just put it together. You're going to be kind of getting deeper into the different things. They talk about this 3D dragger and how it works. Okay. And then they're going to have you put this sub-assembly together. It's going to be the bracket, the bushing, and it's just the bracket and the bushing and the washer. Okay. And when you get done with this, this is going to be called the support. Okay. And you're going to have, you're going to put this washer in place, and you're going to have a little support assembly. Once you get that washer in place and you have just that support done, you're going to save it as a sub-assembly, and it's going to be something that you're going to bring into the larger assembly. Now, at that point, that support assembly, you do need to take a screenshot of and upload it to the assignment. Okay. So it is a screenshot. It's not a PDF. It's like a screenshot again, but make sure that you add in for me the design tree. Okay. Because I don't just want to see the model. I want to see, you know, how you put it all together, because over there, when I see the parts listed, I'll know if they are fully defined or fully constrained or not. Okay. So you'll find out how you know that to be true or not. All right. And I'll know it by looking at the design tree. And if it's not fully constrained, then I'm going to send you back and make sure that you do. Okay. It is important that you do. It'll let you assemble things, but remember, if you don't have things fully constrained or fully defined, bad things can happen later on. Like the next time you pull it in, it might be all like goofed up and stuff like that. So you never want to leave, save, or, you know, just let something be underdefined or unconstrained. Okay. And they'll talk about why you want to do that. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to create the second part here. This is going to be the main assembly. Okay. And you're going to bring in the base plate to start. That's one of the files that you download. And then you're going to be bringing in that sub-assembly, and you're going to be placing it on the plate. You're going to be using some of those constraints that you learned about earlier in the chapter. Okay. And then you're going to place it, and it's going to talk about how you're going to do that. And then you're going to bring in the other support. They're going to tell you, do not mirror this support that you brought in, and they'll tell you why you don't want to do that at the assembly level. Okay, there's some good reasons. So I'm going to let you, find out about that, but don't mirror at the assembly level just because it's like, oh yeah, I can mirror over the center line. Okay. Then you're going to be pulling in the axle and then constraining that as well the way you need to. And then finally, you'll be pulling in the pulley. Okay. And once you get this in its final assembly, you'll want to call it the pulley assembly. And then you're going to take your screenshot and you're going to show me your design tree so I can see that everything is fully defined or fully constrained. And then you're going to upload that. And that's going to be your assignment for the introduction to assemblies. So if we look back at the assignment down here, I'm going to go back to the module 5, and we look at, it's module 6, and we look at assignment number 13, the support and pulley assembly models. You're going to notice you get 10 points for the support assembly, 10 points for the pulley assembly, and you need to upload both of them, including the design tree, and making sure that all of those parts are fully defined. Okay, so there's going to be 2 screenshots that you're going to upload here once you're all done. Okay, and that's the first part of the assemblies. Now, the second part, and this is where this book kind of falls down, is that as you look ahead in the next chapter, you would think, oh, we're going to probably make a drawing and we're going to pull in a bill of material and we're going to balloon. It's not in here. Okay. I know. I'm surprised too. So I'm gathering the resources so that we can go through that process. It's important. You got to be able to create an assembly drawing. So we're going to finish that up, but unfortunately it won't be in this book. We'll do it for this assembly, but I'll do the demo on that and show you how to go through that process and get you some resources for that. I see that there's a message in the chat. Broken assemblies will ruin your life. Thank you, David. It's true. It's really true, because even though it might look good on, like when you're putting it together, but if you're like, I can't figure it out, I don't know why, it's not constrained. The next time you pull it in, it can be like completely bonkers. Yeah, it's really bad. So, so make sure that you're doing that. And that's one reason I want to see that design tree. So this one is a little bit more of an independent exploration, going through the tutorial, using the book. But again, I could sit here for probably 2 hours and lecture the way that they have this in here. And I think it's really good what they do. And I'm here to kind of, answer any questions that you have as they come up. But I think this will be a great way for you to go through this and actually get deeper and learn more, because I would just pick the constrain and the, I think it's the align. And that's what we use for most things, but there are the other ones out there that they explain and they have you play around with. And I want to make sure that you know how those are used. Okay. And then there's other elements in here too that are really important. So are there any questions? So the tutorial tonight, you're going to be working through independently, and then doing the support assembly screenshot and the pulley assembly screenshot. And then I'll be here for moral support.
I have
Okay.
a question about the assembly.
Yes. Yeah.
Does the order in which we put the parts into the assembly matter for this non-Creo?
Does it matter? No,
Okay.
not for this one, but you always want to start. Your very first one is the one that you want to give the most consideration to. And the first
Yeah.
part that you pull in is going to be, if you would, like your base or your home. In
Whatever's
SolidWorks,
on
what do they
the
call
the
that?
ground,
It's fixed,
basically.
it's grounded or fixed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Whatever's
so
on
that's,
like the ground of the,
yeah, so
you
that's
had it just laying
probably
on the table.
yeah, the only one that you really want to make a consideration for. So pulling in that base plate for that final assembly is going to be important first, or the L bracket first. But then sometimes another approach is you can pull all the drawings in, or all the models in, and then you can, put them together as needed. So,
Okay.
but I would suggest doing it one at a time at this point as you're learning, and probably follow the order that they're doing, because it kind of makes logical sense. Many times you're going to assemble it the way that you would assemble it in like real life. And then it also sets the order of your bill of material in that order as well.
Okay. I was asking because they put the axle in first and then put the other thing in, but you'd have to put the
Oh, I
wheel.
know.
You'd have to put the wheel in
I
first
felt
and
that
then
was
put
a
the
little
axle through.
wonky. I
That
felt
would not work.
was, yeah. I think they did it more so that you could visualize, or you could place that keyway vertically, if you would, on the top, so that then
Sure.
you can align it with the pulley later on.
Yeah, so maybe they just made it concentric first and then put the wheel in and then made it coincident to put it through or something.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, play around with it. And again, that's why I want you to do this on your own, because when I'm talking, a lot of times I've got clicking going on. And I know that, you're kind of off to the races, and that's okay. I get it. You guys are in this field, you're interested. It's fun to play around, but then I think this will be helpful for you guys. Okay. All right. So any questions about proceeding tonight? Yes, Lex. What was that? You can borrow my textbook. Yeah, absolutely. Does anybody else need the textbook? Okay. I'll have you run out your car because I don't have an extra one.
I can take pictures of it too.
Okay. I think for tonight, you're fine. All right. Sounds good. Okay, so that's how we're going to proceed. Chris, did you have a question?
Oh, no, I just need to borrow it.
Okay, sounds good. We'll get that all ironed out off camera. Okay, so then I'm going to stop recording for right now.